Welcome to Wake Up Epic. This is going to be an exploration of restraint and stillness and the energy, the archetype of a mountain. And so where are you enmeshed or reacting to the weather of the world around you? Where do you not feel safe to feel at home and steady and grounded? I'm Alex Iglesia, and in Wake Up Epic, we're here to empower your creativity. The 52nd gene key, the 52nd human design gate, the 52nd hexagram tells an embodied story of cradle. So in UZAZU, we dimensionalize these movements, and we've got cradle on both the top and the bottom of this trigram. So the embodied story then, the potential is something like, in a world that is safe and caring, with deep feelings of self-regard, I choose caring, kindness, deep feelings of self-regard. So we're staying in one mode, one space the entire time, which means also then the challenge is to shift our perspective ever so slightly. And I'll walk you through this to go from the world that's holding you, the world that is possible, and the world that you're contributing to, and then inside that, the choice you're making. There's a deep invitation for alignment with this. So try this with me. I'm in a chair, and a chair is a great way to do the cradle because we get to be yin and back, rested and supported, yin and down, soft and receiving, and a little bit yang with width. And in the width, we've got a lot of options. We can go narrow, we can go wide. So everything from a hug to a great big hug is possible. And in cradle, another aspect of cradle that gives us a lot of information is the sense of protecting this space. Whether we turn our arms out to be a bit more aggressive, or to turn our palms in to be a little bit more allowing, we're honoring the boundaries. And one thing that I like to use this for is to say, there's room for me. There's space for me. So hang out here in Cradle. I'm going to share some of the words, the ideas from Gene Keys in Human Design. We've got the shadow of stress. So imagine that you can't be kind to yourself. You can't have room for yourself, and you can't make space for yourself. You don't have the ability to make space and assert yourself in the world. How stressful is that? There's the gift of restraint, which sounds almost like a retreat or a weak thing in a judgmental kind of way, but what's the gift of restraint? How do you assert yourself with restraint? Think of a time or think of something you might wish for right now. Something where a part of you knows it's possible and you just need to take some action. You need to make a request. You need to do something. And what is restraint when you're actually doing the action? Not holding yourself back, but actually taking the step. Recently, I requested some help from the general manager at the hotel that I'm in. I was restrained in the sense that I wasn't demanding. I was restrained in the sense that I allowed him to contribute and to come up with part of the solution. I was very clear about what was, this was the issue, that other challenge. And I was clear about what I wanted and what I was interested in, but I was restrained in that I wasn't the one to make it 100% happen. He had a part to play. And in that, there was some stillness. So we've got the city, the miracle of stillness. And so if you imagine loving yourself, love yourself to death, love yourself to life. In the commitment of loving yourself to death and loving yourself to life, Is there some sense of stillness there? Human Design says this is a gate of inaction. We want to see the whole picture, and we want to achieve concentration. And so there's a choice here to withdraw in order to concentrate. So last piece, imagine the mountain that is there no matter the weather, no matter the storm. And even if there's a little bit of erosion and some change, that weather's not going to take away the mountain. So what is the you that cannot be eroded? And we'll be going into 4 possibility statements. You can relax the cradle for a moment. And these are all about helping us land the ability to embrace our feelings and our self-judgments with kindness and with compassion. So I'll be sharing 1 statement. We'll play with it for about 90 seconds. We'll do 4 statements, and then we'll do a 5th round of having touched those 4 statements. What's alive? What's moving through you? And because we're staying in cradle, you've got a couple options. One is to pulse with your breath, to play with the in and the out, the up and the down, the wide and the narrow in a pulsing, breathing-like way. That's one. Just where does it want to be? How does this cradle want to change? The second is to consciously shift the perspective from the world you're in to the choice you make. The world you're in and the choice you make. So those are 2 options, physical and mental, to toggle your cradle as we go along. Here we go. So shift back, down and wide. Find the cradle that feels the right starting place. Repeat these words and feel free to modify them. I can be kind and supportive toward my own inner experience. I can be kind and supportive toward my own inner experience. Second statement. I can notice and identify my own thoughts and feelings. I can notice and identify my own thoughts and feelings. I can notice and identify my thoughts and feelings. What thoughts and feelings are you noticing? Our third statement, I can hold my self-judgments with kindness and compassion. How do you judge yourself? What's your self-criticism like? Pick one. I can hold my self-judgment with kindness and compassion. And our last possibility here, I can be loving and caring towards my feelings. What's a feeling that often causes stress? I can be loving and caring toward my feelings. For the last minute, let's hold both together. One arm a little wider in cradle, representing the world, and one arm closer, also in cradle, but a little more like an inner hug. So in this space of the world is loving and caring for your feelings, and you are loving and caring for your feelings. What's possible? And what loving boundary can you and the world create together now that holds restraint against your own self-judgment? So what's the choice you can make? I'm no longer going to criticize myself in this way. We're going to end this practice. So in a moment, we'll step out of cradles and into a more neutral place. Gather up your wisdom, gather up your learning. What is it you're taking away from this? And how can you put it into words with a story or a few phrases or words? When you're ready, step out of the cradle into a neutral with your spine. Move your body around and look around the room, recognizing that something is different about you, which means something is different about the world. And if you're watching this, practicing this alone later, then now's a great time to journal or to speak. What's the lesson, the wisdom that you took away from this in the form of a story or even just some reminder words? For me, I'm playing with this assertive boundary setting that is deeply compassionate against criticism. So that restraint of self-criticism that is aggressive. It's like I am aggressively honoring this boundary and I'm allowing this boundary to hold. And I'm just really enjoying the play of like the highest potential of aggressive allowing of boundaries. Anything you'd like to share, Marianne?
Yes. When you asked us to say what is different, to look and notice what is different about the world, I felt that through this practice, the world had become, there was more room for me in the world. The world had shifted as I could expand into it. That there was that when we did the sort of toggling from the inner action of this cradle to the cradle of the world, that I had made a false separation, that here I am, have to take care of myself, and there's the world, okay. And this doubleness said to me that there is room in the world for care of Marion. And then there was this inner experience of I can care for Marion with the permission that I have received from the world through the wider cradle. It's like, oh, so that's powerful.
Thank you. So glad you shared that. Now there's room for me in the world because you spoke that and shared that. So thanks for presencing that. Well, this has been a Wake Up Epic for restraint, for the archetype of the mountain, for transforming our sense of stress when there's not room for us and we're not honoring aggressively and lovingly our own boundaries. So happy adventures, everybody. Go choose a new adventure for today of loving yourself and making space for you everywhere you go. Let miracles rain down like rain and have a fantastic day.